Well, it looks like Zach Levine's going absolutely nowhere. Let's talk about all the news on his injury, the surgery, and how this impacts the Bulls right after this. Now, about an hour ago, we just got the news that Zach Lavine was going to be requiring surgery. He's going to be out 4 to 6 months. This is surgery on the right foot, I believe. Let me make sure. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, right foot. And either way, it just totally throws a huge monkey wrench in all the plans, whether you were for trading him or not, because now we have to keep him. And now on top of that, I mean, realistically, we have to keep him, and we don't get the benefit of having him actually on the floor. So everyone loses. Now, here is a multi-layered thing. I want people to understand this. I have seen, heard, because I was definitely in the car when this happened. Many people are already saying that, hey, this was to really like up in the whole Detroit thing and stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I don't believe that that was the case. I do believe that he's genuinely hurt. I do believe that even though the relationship between them soured, and even though Detroit is not the best option of all places, it still would have been better than being here based off how the relationship has gone. And he would have had to take another physical, and all of these things were going to probably come out in a wash anyway. So it's best that he actually does go get the surgery now. Now, in the interim, like in the meantime, it sucks. It sucks because again, you have to look at the fact that we can't look at what this team's going to look like for the rest of the season. There's probably still going to be a trade for DeMar DeRozan that happens. We're going to be back in the situation we were in before we had DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic. We're not a better team than that. Maybe slightly. But we're not going to be in a better situation. And if I'm being honest with you, this is one of those situations where AK got exactly what he deserved. I'm going to be honest with you. This situation, as bad as it is, as much as it sucks, as much as I do not like the feeling of us being kind of like held hostage in a way. Everybody. I mean, I don't think Zach Lavine wanted this to happen. I'm not going to put that out there like that, as I've already stated. But if you really look at it, everyone is held hostage and a victim of these circumstances, and it all starts because AK just didn't put the right people in place. I'm going to always harp on that until I get information otherwise. Until someone can actually report, someone in the know. It doesn't have to. Hey, listen, I'm not plugged like that yet. Realize I said yet, but I'm going to speak for the fan base that obviously watches me, watches the Windy City Breeze, watches Pat, Jordan, JC, Joe, Ringo. Like we've been with you all for the last 5-6 years. You know how we rock. You know that we actually speak and voice the real when it comes to how people in Chicago talk and how people in Chicago feel about their teams. No one wanted this. No one wants this situation. But at the end of the day, everyone feels as if AK did not have the right coach. Everyone consistently points out how AK didn't put the right pieces in place, and that ultimately him sitting on his hands, him not making decisions, him actually just, I don't know what to say, him just dropping the ball has led to a situation where now you are definitively held to this situation, and it's nothing but he can't blame anyone but himself. Maybe he was asking for too much. Maybe he wasn't aggressive enough. There's a lot of maybes there. But one thing I will say is a lot wasn't done. A lot that could have been done. I will always harp on that. And this is just a caveat to what has already proven to be a disastrous season. And I'm always going to, again, as I've already stated, it's AK's fault. So again, whether you wanted Zach Lavine traded or not, this totally blows that out. That plan is gone, right? You're going to keep him until the end of the season. You definitely, even still then, he's 4 to 6 months. We're going to be in July before we even know if he's healthy, and then check the status of that. And then we're going to have these conversations. These conversations of whether what you do with Zach Lavine are going to happen well up until the next season starts. I promise you. We're going to be maybe a month. Hold on. I give it a month after the draft. When's the draft? End of June, early July. I forgot. August. We're going to still be talking about Zach Lavine. And to be honest with you, just based off of it, probably still be here. Probably still be here. And I still blame AK because realistically, we saw Billy Donovan wasn't the guy. We saw it. It's too much talent on this team for us to be as mid as we are. And then with the people he drafted, half of them don't even get tick. This there was no way, no rhyme or reason for why we were this bad when we all could see that there was moves that could have been made to make us better. And that didn't happen. And I don't blame Zach Lavine for being disgruntled. I don't blame Zach Lavine for being frustrated to be in one bad situation. I mean, the Minnesota at the time that he was there was not a good situation. It was not the Minnesota Timberwolves that they are today. By no means. He gets here. We were a dumpster fire. He improves every season. Finally gets a inkling of, hey, maybe we're gonna have some success. And guess what? There's multiple Hall of Famers who don't like Billy Donovan's style. And when that was evident, didn't do anything about it. So I know this is an injury update. Zach Lavine's not going to get traded, stuff like that. But again, I'm a Bulls fan before anything. I'm sitting here looking at the implications of everything that we have going on. Now we're going to have to divest of other assets just to even make us competitive. And at the end of the day, you should have just made the moves appropriate moves in the first place. Because now, whether you like it or not, you're rebuilding. Don't tell me you're not going to rebuild. Don't tell me that we're not looking to do. Shut up. Rebuild. You're not going to get the pieces you want. That's not going to happen. But that's how AK's rocked. Again, past performance is not an indicator of future success. All I'm saying is this. Stock market talk. You can't tell me what the stock did last year and say, oh, it could do the same thing. Maybe. That's a crapshoot. 50-50. Guess what? Same thing we got with AK. Denver, 50-50. And he wasn't alone in all those decisions. It's not like he single-handedly made all of those decisions. That's a lie. Do your research. I say all that to say the situation we're in now, where there's no market for Zach Lavine, even the showing before he got hurt was very poor. Why? I'm going to blame the coach. I like the fact that Kobe White's developed in this particular role, but you know what? He should have. And it shouldn't have taken 5 years. And Zach didn't hold him back from doing that. He didn't. There's other players on this team that have showed no sign of development. And other players on the team is like, why did you draft that guy if he's not even going to be here? Again, I'm harping on this because, again, as a Bulls fan, this is a major blow because Zach Lavine, again, was our one major trade piece. You have to sign DeMar. Are you going to re-sign DeMar? What are you going to do now, AK? Because at this point, your team is in a state of flux that you can't repair as quickly as you would like unless you do something drastic. And I'm not just spitballing that. Like, there's a lot of scenarios where if he was to pull off some type of major trade right now, it's going to look desperate on somebody's end. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to be on ours. Your most valuable asset, it's not even there anymore. That contract was scary for contending teams who already had max players. It wasn't scary for people who didn't have that, or scary for teams that actually had other players salary-wise that can actually make the money work as close as possible as rules by the new CBA. It wasn't that scary. His contract was not that heavy to move, but now you don't even have that option. Now you're stuck with what you're at. So where's DeMar going? Why is DeMar going to be here? Because you're going to rebuild. Why is DeMar here? Why? I'm mad. Anyway, listen, that's it for today, man. I don't this was news that I didn't want to actually hear. It totally like ruined my day because it's like, hey, I didn't want change just for the sake of change, but I wanted something positive. I wanted us to actually be able to say, okay, let's see AK actually GM. Let me see my GM. Let me see if he's going to pull another magic trick or something, like, for the lack of a better phrase. I couldn't think of anything else. But like, let's see if he does that. Let's see what happens. Nope. There's going to be another trade. There's going to be another trade deadline where the Bulls absolutely do nothing. Nothing is going to be AK's fault. It's going to be AK's fault. Not Zach Lavine's. Zach Lavine was hurt. I can't blame. But you want to know what? The way you positioned this team, the way this team was, you pigeonholed it to the point where now you have to divest of assets that you probably weren't going to move away from because of the way that you built it out. If it hinged on just one player, Zach Lavine, getting hurt, you didn't have a strong foundation here. And you know what? He didn't. That's my rant for today. I'm gonna get out of here. Whether it's love or hate, put it in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear if you're as mad as I am because I'm mad. I'm mad not because the Zach Lavine trade is not going to happen, but because now the implications of everything else is that we're going to be very mid for the at least the next season and a half, unless something drastic happens, and that's all contingent on one or two Lonzo Ball as well. Forgot about that name. That's it's all contingent on two people getting healthy when in reality there were moves to be made. There was people that we could have had. It's people we could have drafted, but you wanted to get cute and peek these stupid. Patrick Williams is the number 4. I gotta go. I holler at you.